I think I'm live. Ooh, that looked horrible. Ooh, that looked even worse. Oh, I hate lights. They're such a, you know. Anyway, let me pick up. Let me just get organized. Give me a minute. I'm just gonna pull up. I want that on mute because I don't want it to interfere. And I'm just gonna get onto YouTube here so I can see the comments. There is a method to my madness. Just bear with me one moment. Me, there. Now I can see the comments. Okay. Are we straight? Kind of, maybe. Anyway, hello. My name is Anne, and welcome to a Tobyknits live episode 100. I think it's 140. I think that, yes, it is. Today is Monday, July 17th. I am in my basement craft room in a little village just outside Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Yes, I'm a Brit, moved here 40 years ago, and don't use my accent much unless my dad's with me, who's 90, by the way. Yes, he was over here in, I think it was end of May, beginning of June. Flew all the way. Can you imagine at 90? No, I can't imagine. I can't. Today, let me have a cup of tea. Today, my grandson, we had him for the day today, and his name is Tristan. And he is, oh, I don't think that makes any difference. He is busy. He is such a busy little guy. Anyway, we took him, we picked him up and brought him back to our house, and then we took him into Brockville for lunch at Don Don's, which is McDonald's. And they had a playroom there. And do you remember years ago, anybody that lives in Canada or North America would know that McDonald's always had a playroom. I took my kids there, like Tristan's dad, when he was a little boy. And we used to go to these playrooms and you'd eat in there while the kids all ran around screaming and playing. And I think they took them all out during COVID. I feel like that's when they took them out. Anyway, I'd not seen one since. And then sure enough, there it was back again. So he was thrilled to bits with this little thing. Of course, he wanted Nana to climb and get in with. I don't even know. I might have a picture here. I don't know if they've already uploaded to my iPad. Because you know what they're like. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Oh, they did. They did. Wait. So here is me and Tristan in this little play area in McDonald's. I'm not kidding. It was hilarious because like I had to climb in with him because he wouldn't go in on his own. So I had to climb in, and it's like the ceilings were only so high in certain parts of it. And oh my goodness, we had so much fun though. And then after that, we went and took him to, I think it's called oh, wait now while I find another picture of that for you. Aquatarium. So there is Tristan and my husband. And we had quite the laugh with this place. And it's got animals in. There was a beaver there. There were otters. There was an otter. There was all kinds of fish. And some of them were huge. So, well, they weren't that big. They weren't big, like really big, like shark big, but Tristan thought they were sharks. So, because they were these long, skinny things. I don't even know what they were. But it was a lot of fun, though. We went around there, and there was all these different play structures and areas they could play on. And, of course, there was a shop. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So then we brought him home, and I was so tired. I think we managed to be home about half an hour, and I said to Bob, I gotta go lay down. I gotta do my video later. I gotta be awake. So anyway, he took Tristan home, and I lay on the bed. Ah, yeah, it's just hard work looking after little ones when you're my age. Yeah, not that I'm dead old. I'm not, but I'm not 30 anymore. No. Anyway, I hope you like this new way of doing it. Normally I used to do my videos around 10 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they would be a podcast. I would record it, then I would edit it and add pictures, add words on the bottom, and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I would condense it. So it had to be uploaded to be condensed off of my software. And then it had to be uploaded to YouTube. So all of those steps took ages. And if we were busy throughout the day or I never got a chance to do it, it would just throw a big kink into things. So I sat down with my husband the other day and I said, listen, I think I want to do lives every week because I feel like it's easier for me. I don't have to do all those extra steps. It's live. You get to see it. It goes up there. If you can't make the live, it doesn't matter that much because it's still up there. So you can go and watch it later, whether you're watching this with me now or you're watching this tomorrow. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be up there. So you're still going to get the content. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just easier to do a live. So then, of course, I was like, but if I do a live at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, a lot of people are at work. There might not be people there to watch. Maybe I should do it in the evening. But then all the people in England, it'll be time for them to go to bed. But as I said, they could watch it in the morning. So I hummed and hawed about this for ages. Anyway, I'm plumping for this. 7 o'clock. We're going to try this for a month and see what happens. So Mondays at 7 will be knitting and nattering and a cup of tea. And Fridays at 7 will be quilting. And some weeks I might be at the trailer. But whatever happens, we're going to try this method for a while. So as I said, this is all about the knitting today. And this is episode 140. And I've got a few things to show you. If you're watching me, say hello. Let me know where you are in the world so I can gauge if I've got everybody's right time zones. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is the holiday sock. This is a finished sock. So here is both of them. So these are the holiday socks. They are a little shorty pair of socks that I designed myself. I actually had already made a pair of socks in the same fashion. You might remember these. These were my April socks that I used. Oh, hey, you're in the UK. Good. I was so worried that people in the UK weren't going to be able to get on the live. So, because it's like 5 hours difference, right? Because, of course, that's where my dad lives. So these socks are, hey, where are you in the UK? Because I lived all over the UK. I started out in Liverpool. That's where I was born. And I lived there till I was 10. Then we moved to Southampton because of my dad's job. And we lived there for like 5 years. Then we moved back up to Liverpool. But my dad didn't want to live in Liverpool again. So we lived in Heswell on the other side of the water, like in Cheshire, the posh part. Then we moved, where did we go after that? Bath. We moved down to Bath. And I did schoolwork everywhere. Like I changed schools that many times. And I think I went to college in Bath. Yeah, I went to college in Bath. So I would have been 17 then. And I was there for a couple of years. Then I moved to Gloucester for a year or two. And then I came to Canada. So now my parents then since moved back to Southampton and then to Swindon. So, oh, there you go, South Cheshire. Well, you'll know Heswell. Yeah. So anyway, that was, that's how I moved all over the show. But anyway, so these were my April socks I made because I wanted a quick pair of socks to demonstrate the April yarn I had dyed for the Gerber Daisy. So I had this and I made it up as I was going along. And of course, because I was making it up, whenever you do one sock, you always have to make sure your other sock is the same, right? So I had to make sure I had how many rows did I do before I did broke for the gusset. I wanted them to be short, I like an ankle sock. I didn't want them to be a long leg. I knew I wanted the partridge heel flap and turn, and I wanted a round toe. And so I wrote the pattern on a piece of scrap paper. And then it just sat there. So then when I decided we were on vacation, we were out in Nova Scotia visiting my son. And whenever I go on, I call it holiday, North Americans would call it vacation, I always get some yarn from a yarn store. And I always pick a local hand-dyed yarn. So I thought, I'm going to make this again. So I had to find that scrap of paper and I decided to write it up as a pattern and offer it free to everybody. So this is the holiday sock. So it's all ready to go. And this is lovely yarn. I got this yarn in Halifax, and of course I don't have the tag with me. It's upstairs. So I get Fiber Artist, I think was the name of the dyer. And it's called Echo Beach. So it's kind of a bluey color. It's very pretty. It's all different speckly bits. So that is out right now currently with, I think I've got 4 test knitters working on it, doing a couple of different sizes because I am offering it in small, medium, and large. So 56, 64, and 72 stitch. And so they're all knitting them madly for me. And I'm hoping to release this pattern on August the 14th, just to give them time to knit them. I mean, I've knit them twice, but only in a 64. So I need them to let me know if the pattern looks right, feels right, if I've made any mistakes, all that kind of stuff. Because it's very interesting. It was my first pattern that I have written, and it was a natural progression, I think, for me, because I started dyeing yarn in January this year. So it's a natural progression for me to go from dyeing yarn to writing patterns to go with that yarn, and which is my next one. So it's an interesting way to do it. Anyway, I am really enjoying the whole thing of dyeing yarn and writing patterns, very much so. So those are the holiday socks. As I said, they're out with test knitters. I'm hoping to release it August 14th on Ravelry as a free pattern. So look for that. And then, you know, when you go on holiday or vacation and you go to a yarn store, you can pick up some holiday yarn. Woo! The other things I have been working on are the Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. She is doing a mystery thing called the Handmade Sock Society. I always want to call it the Secret Sock Society, but it's the Handmade Sock Society. And each month since May, she has been releasing a sock pattern, and then you get the pattern and there, you know, there it is. So the first one I think were called the Shadow Socks, and I had already done them. They're done and finished. I finished them when I was in Nova Scotia. The second one is called the Feather Vane. And this is the first one that I have done. And this is in my rose yarn, hand-dyed, and this is the, blowing that out, June sock of birth flower of the month is that. So this is this, and it has a lovely pattern down the front. You will find, see, there's how it looks there. It's very pretty. I really enjoyed knitting this. So that's the first one, and I am on the second one, and the back is plain, and I've just got a couple of these little, I don't even know what you call them, triangles, feathers. I guess they're meant to be feathers. So there's a couple of those, and this is my, as I said, my hand-dyed yarn rose, and there's one left in the shop. Now, when I was down in Nova Scotia, I was talking to my son, who's an accountant, and he told me not to do the dye to order and to make a bunch of yarn up, put it in the shop, sell it, and that way I'm not doing several different colors all at the same time. So I went in and fixed all my Etsy quantities, and there's only one in there that's still at dye to order, but all the rest are in there. And once they're gone, they're gone. So if you want that rose color, it's the only one left in the shop. You better get it. There's also one left of this, of the Gerber Daisy, which was the April yarn. So that's that one that I've been working on. Another cup of tea. Then her July socks, which, and I just sold the last of this yarn today, is the July yarn, which is larkspur. So that's quite pretty. And this sock that she brought out is called Seed Pod. So it's it's very interesting because we started off on 2.25 and then we changed to 250 to do this part. So it really pops out. It really, stands out. And then we went back to the 2.5, and I'm now ready to start the heel flap and turn. And this one does have the pattern on both sides. Isn't that pretty? Look how intricate that is. And let me tell you, this one uses a cable needle. And I was working on it in the car on our way home from Nova Scotia. And I don't know about you, when you're using a cable needle, like I was knitting away, and you put the cable in and you're either front or back, whichever direction you're meant to be going. So I put it in, and I'm okay with the front, I think it is. But when no, it's the back I'm okay with. But when I do lift the front one up to knit it, I end up dropping the cable needle completely into my lap, which when you're sitting on the couch at home is fine. But when you're in a car, it's not. Because the needle fell down the side between the console thing and my chair. And of course, you can hardly get your hand down there, it's that narrow of a space. So as I put my hand down, I pushed it further down. So now it's in the groove thing that the chair moves backwards and forwards on. Oh, so needless to say, it sat there for about 2 weeks till my husband was able to get it out for me yesterday. But, so I had to use stitch holders, which actually turned out better because then I could hang it down on the holder and deal with the one I needed to before I got back to picking that one up and sticking it back on the needle and doing all that kind of business. So it turned out a bit better. I might just keep doing it that way. But yeah, so that was, actually I've got 2 more rows to knit. I may as well knit this while I'm talking to you. And so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so it was just a funny, because at one point you needed 2 cable needles. So that got a bit really confusing, but okay, so okay, how do you do, let's get into this. How do you do when you're ready to break on magic loop, I'm ready to break for my heel flap. And some say turn to look at the wrong side. So I am looking at the right side. Oh, I can't read it on the same thing happened to me Saturday. My DPN rolled off my laptop. So there you go. That's worse. That's worse. Because then you got to get up and anyway, okay, so where was I? So I use magic loop. TPNs, I can knit with TPNs, but I'm all fingers and thumbs, and I would be losing my needle, Mandy, way more times than you probably do. So anyway, some patterns will tell you to turn to the wrong side, slip one and purl. Well, if I turn, so I'm looking at the right side, this is the wrong side. If I turn so I'm looking at the wrong side, you can't do a purl on that side. It's not going to make sense. So what I do is I have this is the right side, and here is the wrong side up here. And what I do is while the right side is looking at me, I pull the front needle out. And then I do the purl row on the back needle here. So that's how I do mine. How do you interpret that yourselves? If your first row is a slip one, purl the rest of the row. Tell me how you do yours. Of course, if you have DPNs, it's easier, I think, to do that part. Or is it? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so what else did I have to tell you? Oh, yes, so while I was out there, I decided, and as this was going swimmingly well with my holiday sock, I thought, well, this would be fun to do some more sock patterns. So we went off to Value Village, my daughter-in-law and I. Okay, so I am doing it right. Okay, perfect. So we went to Value Village, and I mean, I've always done it this way, but the pattern said to turn to the wrong side. So then I was like, what? Maybe I was misinterpreting it. And I found this book of stitches. And I thought, oh, this would be handy. Then I can look up all these different types of stitches and, you know, make some sock patterns out of that. So sure enough, I was looking around, and I saw one that I really liked the look of. You can't even see me doing this. Maybe if I sit up higher, maybe that'll work. So I found one that I was, I don't normally sit with my shoulders up like this, but you can't see what I'm doing. So I was looking through this book, and I saw this really cool stitch. And when I looked at it, it was called something else, but when I looked at it, I saw something different. And I thought, this would be a cool Halloween sock with this little pattern on it, this texture. So I went out, sent my husband, because kids, we're at my son's house, and I said to him, do you have any graph paper? No. Oh. Do you have any at your office? No, we're paperless. Oh. So I just sent my husband to the store to get me some graph paper. So I sat there and drew this little sock and this little idea that I had in my head. And I thought, oh, this would be kind of cool. And when I get home, I'll dye some yarn in Halloween colors, and I'll show you my muse. So this was a picture that I saw, which gave me, isn't that a cool picture? I'm not telling you any more than that. So that was the idea. So I decided that I would make this sock pattern. So I dyed some yarn up. I started it. I thought, if I did this kind of a stitch, how am I going to get that to do this? So I was, you know, practicing with some stitches, and I ripped it out 3 times. All the way back to the cuff 3 times, because first of all I did it and I thought, no, you can't see what I'm looking for, I'm not getting that. Ripped it all back to the cuff, knitted it again the next night, use 2 colors to get my definition. And I thought, that's too complicated. Ripped that back. So then last night, third night in a row, I knit it again the way I'd originally anticipated it in my head before I looked at it too much and thought, okay, this is it. That's what I want. Then I got this other idea for what I want to do further down. Ugh, I'm just dying to tell you about it, but I don't want to because it's a surprise. And then, so this afternoon, I dyed up more yarn. So I think I've got it now. So the plan will be that pattern will be released October 1st for Halloween. It will be free with the yarn. So if you buy the yarn I'm going to be dyeing up, you'll get the pattern free. If you don't want to use the yarn I'm doing and you want to buy your own yarn, or if you have your own in stash, then you just buy the pattern by itself on Ravelry. It's going to be perfect. And what I'll do, I think, is I will put a pre-order up on my Etsy store for the yarn. And that will go up, I'm thinking, August 1st. So I can get, and so you have to pay for it then. And it'll give me an idea of how much yarn I need to buy in order to then dye this up. I have some here still, but I don't know how this will go. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, I want that. Oh yeah, I want that. And before you know it, I've got no yarn and I have to order it, and it doesn't like come tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to be, I think, how I'm going to do it. And then I will then give myself time to dye it, and then I will ship that out to everybody the middle of September. And then we'll start October 1st with a little, I think October 2nd, with a little cast on party. So that's going to be fun. I still haven't named them yet, so I'm not even going to tell you that because I don't know. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. So there we go. I've done 2 rows of my heel flap. Not that you can tell. Maybe you can tell that way better. So what are you guys all working on? Just checking all the comments. Yeah, okay, good. We're all up to date on our comments. And yeah. It's been really hot here in Canada. Well, where I am anyway. It's been, well, let's put it this way, the air conditioner's on. So thank goodness we have that. I don't think I could cope with this humidity and temperatures if I didn't have, no wonder we've got forest fires going on all around us, because we haven't had much rain. Anyway, well, that's about all I got for you, really. Oh, a vanilla sock pattern in opal wool. I actually have, I like opal. I did make a pair of socks for my husband out of opal yarn, and I really like them. And I also like, oh, what's that other one called? I've got one behind me here. Yorkshire spinners. Of course, I'm going to knock everything over now. Yeah, West Yorkshire spinners. And I've had this yarn for like about 2 years. And this is their Christmas sock yarn. And it was, 2019. It's called Robin. I don't know if you can see that. And yeah. And I keep looking at it and wanting to do it because it reminds me very much of opal yarn. And I keep saying to myself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make these. I'm going to make these. I've seen them knit up and they look lovely, but I like the fact that it makes a little pattern. You know what I mean? It makes a little, like, it looks very intricate. It looks like you've done color work, but you haven't. And that's what opal yarn is like. I find that very similar in style. So it just always looks cool. looks cool. So yeah, well, how long have I been on? 30 minutes. Wow. Oh, have you made them? Have you made them, Mandy? Or have you just got it in stash like me? And I am super tempted to do them this year, but there's so much else I'm doing. It's not even funny. It's like I've always got at least 2 pairs of knitting socks on needles, always. Every month there's always 2. Well, of course, now that I'm doing all my own designing and I make the first sock up before I send the pattern and the information out to my test knitters. But while I make that first one, like I said, like this week alone, 3 nights in a row, I've ripped it apart. Hello, Selena. How are you? Yes, pigeon, owl, and pheasant colorways. Oh, I didn't know they had all those. I only noticed, or really knew of their Christmas lines, so I don't know. But I totally just forgot what I was talking about. Isn't that awful when you do that? I don't even know now. What were we talking about? I know we were talking about the different, oh yeah, that's what it was. But now that I've started designing my own, now I'm also throwing that one in. Oh, well, that's good. Well, and that's the whole point of me doing it at 7 o'clock at night. I wanted to be able to catch more people while I do a live. I thought it would be more fun because, you know, let's face it, I know I'm retired, but I'm sure not all of you are. And you don't always have time at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, but you might have time in the evening. So I thought we'd try these 7 o'clock lives on a Monday night for the knitting. And yeah, so yeah, because I'm doing these my own sock patterns now, I have to throw in another pair of socks in the mix to knit. So until I get that particular one under my belt, 9:30 a.m. Oh, you must be in Australia, are you? Or that way? New Zealand? That's close, isn't it? Are you Australia? Because if it's Tuesday morning, yikes. Well, yeah, because if I did it, you'd be, oh, I don't understand time zones. Yes, okay, good. Australia. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad. So that's not too late for you to be sitting knitting. Oh, Queensland. I have never been to Australia, ever. I had family that went out to live there. I don't even know if they're still there. Because I think one of my grandfathers had had 10 brothers and sisters, and some came to Canada, and I met up with some of them, their family, and some went to Australia, and but I don't think he ever kept in touch with any of them, to be honest with you. So, which is kind of sad. I suppose I should look him up, but I don't know if I could cope with that flight. That's a long flight from, because I think from here, I think we have to fly to England and then from there to Australia. I don't think we can go direct from Canada. I don't think so. No, it's a long way. It's a long way. Where you are, because I watch another lady who's on YouTube. She does crochet. And where they are, I don't actually remember where she is, but I know it's Australia. They do this thing called load shedding, which I thought was bizarre. And they purposely turn your power off for a couple of hours a day. Does that happen to you? I'm still not quite sure the point of it, but okay, that goes that way. See, that's gonna get, okay, there. That's still not right. Oh, hello, Marie Jose. How are you? Hey, do we have knitting this week? I don't even know if we do. It's been that long since I've been to our knit group. I don't know. Oh, this is annoying me so much. Okay. Do you get when your thingy gets all messed up? Does it annoy you? It annoys me. Okay, you go that way, you go that way, you go that way. Now I'm happy. Oh, why do they do that though? Well, I'm trying to remember the name of the lady that I watch. Granny Ursula is her name. Granny something. Oh, okay. Well, at least I know what is this week, because it's like, because I've been gone, I was away in Nova Scotia for a couple of weeks. I don't remember which week it is, because it's not every week. It'd be, if it was easier if it was every week, but of course it's not. It's every 2 weeks, so I never know which of the weeks it is. But yeah, that load shedding thing, it's just kind of weird. I don't ever... That would be so annoying to be told, oh, we're cutting your power off tonight for 5 hours. What? Yeah, so anyway. So we're going to the trailer this weekend. We have a trailer. It's not a very big one. It's only like 19 foot. It's only big enough for me, my hubby, and the dog. So we're going there in the weekend, I think. And there's a concert there at our campsite. So Ambush are playing. So I have to go. So you said you're going to there's a concert in Kempville? What's that concert is it? That would be fun. Yeah, I haven't been to a show or a concert for a long time, so it'll be interesting. I don't know whether the kids will come up for the day and my kids and bring my grandchildren. I don't know. It's funny. When I have my grandson and I go out, he reminds me so much of his dad when he was his age. I sometimes think I've gone back in time. Yes, I'm knitting more socks. Oh, Colin James, I say. I'm always knitting socks. These are the seed pod socks from, aren't they cute? I'm just on the heel flap, from Helen of Curious Handmade. Okay, wait now. Oh yeah, I'm doing the pearl part. And these are the July socks. I'm miles behind with them. This is all I've done. I haven't even done the whole sock yet. So, because I've been so obsessed with my own yarn socks that I'm designing. And I was just talking to the girls about that. I've got the holiday socks out. They're actually, one of my test knitters is on right now. Ooh. So these are the holiday socks. I'll just show you them. And they're just a little shorty pair. And they're basically what I do when I go on holiday or vacation, is I buy some yarn and I knit up to remind me, oh, she's on the toes already, to remind me of the vacation I went on. And every time I put them on, it reminds me, right? So I've always done that. I've always bought a pair, and I usually get a local hand-dyed pair of socks. So, because, I mean, you know, you can buy, I don't know, any sock yarn in any big department store, right? So, no, they don't sell them in department stores, but Michael's or stuff like that. I didn't want something just from Michael's because I could have got that in Ottawa. But, so this is a local hand-dyed. And I also made that same pattern back in April with these. That's where I first decided and kind of half wrote the pattern up. And then when I was away, I did that. So now it's gone out to some testers. to make sure that everything is right before I release it to everybody else as a free pattern. Yes, because they're just a little shorty pair. So yeah, always knitting socks, but my Halloween ones, oh, I dyed the yarn up today for them. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. I had such, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you guys go back and watch or you're just gonna take my word for it, but this last 3 days, I was doing them in the evening. I've ripped them back 3 times to the cuff because each time it wasn't what I'd envisaged. It wasn't what I, thought it would look like, or it was too complicated. And anyway, so now finally I've got it. So now, yes, she does. I actually have done a couple of her sock patterns. Actually, my favorite sock designer, there's 2 of them. They're both UK. And there's, actually I have 3. So there's 1 Canadian and 2 UK sock knitters that I love. One is Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I love her sock patterns. And I'm a Patreon of hers, so I often get them and see them. But I love her sock patterns. And I also love Ellie Jones, who's no relation, of Craft House Magic. I like her sock patterns too. Hers are really nice. And then Winwick Mums are nice. And then the Canadian sock designer that I like is Dana Ray Makes. And I think she's out of Calgary. And her sock patterns are really nice. So yeah. And then, of course, now you know mine. But yeah, so anyway. But I love knitting socks. And it's so funny because my husband moans that I don't knit enough socks for him. But he has such a big foot. It's like, I don't want to knit socks for him. Mine are just, I only have like a 7.5 foot. And, I don't need to knit a big foot. So, but he has a giant foot. So it's like, ugh. I don't, yeah. Do you all knit for your husbands, your socks? Or do you just knit for yourself, your socks? I did at one time knit all the kids a pair of socks one year for Christmas, and I don't even think they wear them. So it's like, oh, well, you're not getting any more. So I know I wear them. I wear them every day. Well, I shouldn't say every day. I don't wear them in the summer when it's like today, plus 36 outside with the humidity. I don't, because I have flip-flops on then. But if I wear my running shoes, then I'll put a shorty pair on and go outside. But I love my socks. Like, I have not, since I started making socks, which I would imagine now is about 7 years ago. Yeah, I do too, all year round. So about 7 years ago, I started making socks. I have a drawer full of them. And then I've been making a pair every month, sometimes 2 since January. And I haven't worn any of them. They're all pristine in a box. And I'm gonna open that box on Christmas Day and they'll be all brand new socks for next year. But yeah, I just love wearing socks all the time, and I do not have a single pair of hand-bought socks in my cupboard anymore. And like I said, I have about 4 pairs I've knit for my husband. Poor guy. But he wears them to bed. I mean, why would you do that? And so they're all fluffed up and they're like, you can't even see the stitch definition anymore, but he loves them, but I said, no, thanks. I'm not making you any. You have too big of a feet and you wear them to bed. Not doing that. Yeah. Crazy man. Yeah, so I'll take some up to the trailer and I'll sit outside and yeah, I actually saw, it was Kay Jones who suggested it. she had said that what she was going to do was knit a pair of socks a month and put them away in a box. And then in December, she would open that box up and she'd have all these lovely socks. So I've been knitting sometimes 2 or 3 pairs, depending. And I've thrown all of them in the sock. Actually, there's one pair I had to use because I finished them when we went down to Nova Scotia. I finished them off in the car. That was the shadow box socks. And I finished them. And I had only packed 1 pair of socks with me because I thought it was going to be lovely down there. And I'd packed shorts. And so I had my flip-flops. And I packed 1 pair of jeans and a couple of t-shirts. And I don't think I've ever done that kind of a heel. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, so and a couple of t-shirts. Well, the whole first week we were down there was foggier than anything and cool. So, I mean, you know, I had to keep putting my jeans on and t-shirts. And then, of course, when you got jeans on, you want socks. Well, I had 1 pair of socks with me because I thought I'd packed 2 pairs, but I didn't. But I did finish while I was there the, yeah, I never heard of that heel. I'll have to look it up. So I finished the shadow box. So I actually was able to wear them. So they're the only ones of all the socks I've knit this year that I have worn. And, and I don't know, some of them I might look at them by December or, you know, November and think, oh, I'll give these as a gift. Probably not though. I'll probably just keep them. I don't, if you can hear, my washing machine is on. My husband just came down to put some laundry on. So you might hear it. And any minute now he's going to push the button to make the pump work. No, I think it was, oh, it could have been. It could have been her that started it, Mandy, but I know, oh, do you know what? I think it was. I think it was her, and Kay had heard of that and thought it was a great idea and was going to do it. Then, of course, I heard of it and thought it was a great idea and thought I'd do it. So, yeah, but you're probably right. It probably was Danny from Little Bobbin. You're probably right. Yeah, but I think it's a great idea. And then you got all these lovely new socks because some of my socks are getting, I bought one of them. I don't even know if I have it up here. No, it's upstairs. I have one of them sock things that you shove up your sock and you can darn. It's like a darning mushroom, except they're not really mushroom looking. Oh, I'll have to look that up. So Selena said she's a slow knitter. Took her nearly a year to finish my easy cable socks. Yeah, but cables are hard. They can be hard. Like, you know, if you can hang on to the cable needle, I apparently can't. So you're probably doing all right. I'll have to look that up. Yeah. But, yeah, so here's my heel flap coming on. Here's the back. How do you count them? So do you count the bigger V's going up? Because you know you have to do so many rows, right? Or do you count the slips at the back so you know how many rows you've done? What do you do? I do both. I do one first and then I make sure and do the other side and count. But, yeah. And the other thing I plan to do too, by the way, is with the pattern that I'm going to be writing up for these Halloween socks yet to be named, I'm going to do some little videos to show you how to do the pattern part and how I rearrange my stitches on the needles to do the gusset, because I don't think I do them like a lot of people do it. because I don't like having the pickup stitches from the heel flap, the heel stitches, and the other side pickup stitches from the heel flap on the one back needle. I don't like that. So I arrange mine a bit different. So I will be showing you some little tutorials on how I do mine, how to do this particular stitch, and stuff like that, which I think might help. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, what is dupe syndrome? I've never heard of that. Carpal tunnel, I definitely know what that is. Yeah, why do my, oh, circulars. Do you mean like this, like magic loop? Or do you mean this teeny tiny little circular ones? I actually have a pair of 9-inch circulars, and I tried really hard to do a pair of socks with them. And I think I got as far as about 4 or 5 rows into the rib, the cuff section, gave up and put them on the, yeah, the small one. I can't do them. Mind you, maybe I haven't given them much of a chance, but I found them just like, I couldn't get the grip of them properly, you know? And, yeah, I think I might have to give it another chance, but I much prefer Magic Loop. Because I just didn't find my tension was right with them, and anyway. Yes, so my dad had carpal tunnel, but he had the surgery, so he got it fixed. I don't have carpal tunnel, but well, I'll show you my video, so we'll try and see if we can convert you to that, because I just find them way easier. But I do get pain in my thumb, just this thumb. This one maybe sometimes. And now I've started getting pain in this knuckle here. And I feel like it's getting, you see that bumpy bit? Anyway, I'm assuming it's arthritis, not rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, no. What's all the arthritis is? There's a, it might be osteoarthritis actually, in this thumb. And I find it hard crocheting, to be honest with you. Yeah, I've never heard of that. What is that? I don't know what that is. I can't even say it. So I know sometimes my hand hurts, and I think it's also because the way I hold my needles, I push down on this needle with my thumb probably too hard. And I'm sure that's what, and I move my stuff up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah, that's it, not osteo. Yeah, rheumatoid. Ugh, can't even say the word. And, oh, so what is she saying? Something or another contraction is an abdominal thickening of tissue in the palm of your hand. Oh. Well, I don't think I have that. So does it make it hard for you to hold the needles then? Oh, that's a new one on me. I've never heard of that one. But no, I know my thumb hurts occasionally. And of course, if I'm knitting a lot, which I have been the last few days, it'll probably start bothering me. Yeah. Must be annoying. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have my hands and I couldn't knit. Oh, is that what that is? Does it like lock? Because my dad's finger started to do that. And it's a baby finger. And he said it'll just suddenly curl up and he has to push it. I'm going to tell him that that's what it is. Oh, I'm going to tell him. Maybe that is it. Because he didn't know what it was and he thought it was funny. Because he's 90. It's about time he had something going on with him. Oh, I am going to look that one up too. That's two things I'm going to look up after this. My goodness, these lives are very handy. I'm learning more from you guys than you are from me. That's cool. That is very cool. I'm definitely looking up. No, I wouldn't go there for surgery. I'm like, I'm not very good with needles. Well, that's good. Just don't let it get too far advanced. Maybe there's some exercises you can do. Hey, Nilda, how are ya? Hey, I'm doing a quilty one on Friday, so you'll be able to watch the quilting one. And I finished my Halloween quilt from the Fat Quarter Shop. I put it all together when I got back from Nova Scotia. So I finished that, and I'm going to quilt it live. That'll be interesting. Yes, it will. Very. You can tell I'm sitting at my sewing machine because there's thread everywhere. Oh, see, I don't eat red meat anymore. I don't eat that at all now. It doesn't, my stomach gets upset. My stomach also gets upset with dairy, so I don't do dairy either. I buy lactose-free stuff or dairy-free. And you know what? I have this lovely dairy-free ice cream, and you would never know. They're little ice cream sandwiches. You'd never know that it wasn't real ice cream in there. It's probably made out of coconut milk or something. Could be almond milk, I don't know. But they're lovely. And they don't hurt my tummy, and that's all that matters. But yeah, I don't do any red meat anymore. I don't even do pork or lamb. Oh God, I used to love lamb. Ugh. When I used to go home to England for visits, my mom, the first meal I ever chopped. Oh, you can't eat dairy yet? No. I think as we get older, like I only started this kind of weird not being able to tolerate dairy or red meat and all that. I'm sure like after I went through my change of life, like, you know, I mean, I'm 66 this year, so, and that happened for me back when I was like 55, 54. And, but yeah, I feel that's kind of when things started changing in my body. So, but yeah, I eat fish. I eat lots of fish. You haven't eaten any meat since 1987? Good for you. Good for you, Mandy. My son is a vegan. He doesn't eat. It's funny. He's been a vegan about 6 years, and his wife was, but she's pregnant again. That's Leo's mummy. She's pregnant again, and so when she was pregnant with Leo, she couldn't tolerate a lot of the beans or the tofu, so it would make her super sick. So she started eating eggs again and chicken, and she hasn't gone back because, you know, she was nursing Leo, and oh gosh, that must be difficult, not being able to eat all those like different things. Ooh, wow. Yeah, so yeah, so when he told me he was going vegan, I thought he was going to starve to death. I was not a happy mother, and I wasn't very nice to him because, of course, you know, we all think we know best, right? We're older, we're wiser, so we should know best. And so the poor kid, I gave him a real rough time for about 6 months, and then I thought, okay, he's not gone back. I figured by then he'd get fed up and go back and be eating his chocolate and all his other stuff. Well, yes, the price of meat, Selena, is horrendous. I can't even tell you. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's awful here. I usually buy chicken now, and when I buy the chicken breast, I cut the breast in half, like slice it that way, and I end up, so instead of having 4 pieces of chicken, we have 8. and I freeze the rest because it's like, I can't afford it otherwise. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so he was, I decided, I figured he'd go back to being, you know, a normal eater, let me say. That's what I thought we all were back then. And he never did. So I thought, well, I better learn to cook vegan food at least once a week so that if he came over, I'd have something to give him. And you know what? I actually quite liked it. And so yeah, I actually cook quite a bit. One of my favorite recipes, and we're actually having it tomorrow night for our tea, for our supper, is lentil balls. And they're so good. Selena said chicken and pork are about the only two. Yeah. Well, I don't eat pork. I just eat chicken and fish. But yeah, these lentil balls are really good. And they're super easy to make. And I have them with mashed potatoes and beans. And you'd never know they weren't meat. They're really good. So yeah. And of course, he never starved. And he's been 6-7 years now. So it's all good. But there's definitely times when I really wish certain foods didn't upset my stomach. Because do you not find sometimes it's like, I really could go with a big, nice, juicy steak and a baked potato with sour cream on top and, you know, veggies and all that. If I ate that, I'd be sick for days. I would be. But sometimes you just really would like it. But don't take no chances. Don't take no chances. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to go. What time is it? How long have I been on? I can't even tell. Oh, I've been on an hour. Yeah. Yeah. Can't do it. Well, ladies, this has been really fun, and I'm glad this time slot seems to be good for most of you. And if you're watching it on replay and you're enjoying this, please give me a thumbs up and let me know below that this is a good time and that, you know, maybe you'll join us next week at 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna go, this tea is now cold. There's hardly any in it actually, but it's cold. So I'm gonna go upstairs, have a fresh cup of tea, and keep knitting on my socks. And I'll see you all Friday at 7 for some quilty fun. If you're not into quilting, that's fine. I'll see you next Monday at 7 o'clock. Good night. Thanks for joining us. Keep chatting if you want to. Okay, bye. Oh, I have to figure out how to turn this off now.